Alright, we're going to continue our conversation about inequalities. We're going to talk about two variable inequalities. So a two variable inequality, we got 4 examples up here. Are exactly what they sound like. They've got two variables now where we have x and y. And it's just like our linear equations that we've been looking at the past couple weeks. We've got an m, which is a slope. We've got a b, which is a y-intercept. We solve them the same way. Now the only thing is when we graph them, it's a little bit differently. So if we look at the first one here, we got to get into y is less than or equal to mx plus b form. So it's the same now, except there's no equation, or there's no equal sign. So I got to get rid of that 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides of the equation. Or I'm sorry, both sides of the inequality now. So off to the left, all I have is y is less than or equal to negative 3x minus 1. Pretty simple. We'll solve the next one. We'll graph them all together in a minute. The next one I've got to get rid of my 2x here. So I subtract 2x from both sides. Got negative 3y is greater than 6 minus 2x. Last thing I got to get rid of this negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Y is greater than negative 2 plus 2 thirds x. Now we're just solving the same way we would normally solve. Up here, I've got to get rid of that x, so I subtract an x. I've got negative y is less than 5 minus x. I got to divide by negative 1. When I divide by negative, I have to flip my sign, so I've got y is greater than negative 5 plus x. And I've got one more here. I'll do in a different color. Let's go with gray. So we got to distribute here. 4x is less than or equal to 2x plus 2y. Oops. I can move the screen. There we go. Plus 2y. Now I gotta get y alone, so I subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. I've got 2x is less than or equal to 2y. Last thing I do to get this alone, divide by 2. So I got y is less than or equal to x. Alright, so I got my 3 equations. Now I'm going to graph them. Start over here. Graph it just like we would a linear equation. I have my y-intercept, which is my negative 1, and I have my slope, which is negative 3. So I'm going to start at the point negative 1. I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Here's my graph. The only difference now, since I have a less than or equal to, since there's an or equal to sign, I'm going to make it a solid line. Since it's less than, I'm going to shade in everything that's less than it. So everything on this left side of the graph is an answer to this inequality. The blue one now. Y is greater than negative 2 plus 2 thirds x. My negative 2 is my y-intercept, so I'm going to put a dot on negative 2. My slope is 2 thirds, so it goes up 2 over 3 right here. Now I have to look at my sign. My sign does not have an or equal to sign, so it's dotted lines. And since it's greater than, I'm going to shade everything above the line. Okay. My green line now. So I've got y is greater than or equal to negative 5 plus x. So my y-intercept is a negative 5. I have plus x, so 1 is my slope, up 1 over 1. It should look like this, and since it's just greater than, I've got a dotted line, and greater than, again, we shade everything above. So what we're shading are all the possible answers here. So anything in this green section, if we plug in the x or y, it'll make this statement true. And we'll finish up with our last one here, which is x is less than or equal to y. If I get my gray, x is less than or equal to y. My y-intercept is 0, so I start at the origin. My slope is 1. So go up 1, over 1, I'll put a dot. Since there is an or equal to sign, it's a flat line. And now this one's tricky, because our y is on the right hand side now. So it actually says x is less than or equal to y, which means if we flip it around, y is greater than or equal to x, which means again we're going to be shading this top area of the graph. And where we shade, if we pick any of the points up here and plug them into this equation, or this equation, consider the same, it'll give us a true statement.